born and raised in Kaysville. Had the blessing and privilege to serve an LDS church mission to Brazil for 2 years. And that really opened up my eyes to like, what this world's about, when you see people living in poverty and yet, they're walking around with a smile on their face and you're like, oh man, kind of a dirtbag. I have nothing to complain about yet.
It makes you appreciate America
it
too.
Does.
Yeah,
it
for
does.
sure.
Hi, and welcome to the Flat Bill Investors Podcast. I'm Josh Zaglowski.
And I'm Zach Spencer. Welcome. Josh, today we are blessed to have a family man. He's a great guy. We've met fairly recently, but he has stood out to both of us. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy who truly cares about people. You can tell that he has an eye for detail and is doing big things in his particular niche. We have Colt Flitton in the house today. Hey, I'm going to do the old switcheroo. We got the owner, visionary of Drip
Look
Swag,
at that logo.
Colt Flitton. No, this one is so good. And
I like that one.
This hat's super comfy.
Yeah.
So, and I think it'll make me a better golfer if I wear this.
Your hat needs to be comfy.
Yes. My head. I need to wear comfy hats. So
I mean,
there you go.
The real
Welcome.
question is, do you ever feel like you're just got your college offer and now you're deciding what team?
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
on,
yeah.
Right?
Dude, actually.
Who are you committing to today?
And I go like this.
You fake one.
Drip Swag.
Drip Swag. All right.
UNC can go out of. Who cares about them? I'm going Drip Swag.
And partner sponsor.
Yeah. So one other thing we want to just really give a heartfelt thanks. Colt was really gracious and hopped in as our channel sponsor. So obviously we got lots of nice swag.
You guys can get swag.
You can get swag. No, I'm going to start by maybe just talking about like a really cool thing that Colt did for us as we first kind of got to know each other a little bit. We went out for my birthday and went out and got some Mexican food. Was it Mexican? Yeah, it was Mexican.
Yeah.
Tex-Mex down in Salt Lake, and took the wives to dinner and got back and Colt gave us a really cool cutout that we will have posted in a couple of these you'll see, but gave us these light up LED
It's probably both on our Instagrams too.
Yeah. You can look it up, but it gave us an LED flat bill investor skateboard, which to me, I was like, okay, I've worked with a lot of different swag companies, merch. We've ordered pens, we've ordered, just your regular polos and stuff. And this was something that like, for me, like knocked my socks off. Cause I was like, man, I've never just thought about getting somebody a skateboard for like a merch type present. And I think that's very indicative of who you are and the business you have. So thanks, Colt.
It's not just that, it's the creative part of it, right?
Yeah,
it's like when you talk about LED, I had someone look on Amazon for me. I'm trying to get something because my office, right? Where I have different posters and stuff. I have a place I want to fit it on the wall because I don't skateboard. I know you do. It's so cool because it's clear. It's got our engravings of our cartoon face that we do for our podcast, but then it also lights up, and I want it against the wall so like I can see that all the time.
Yeah.
And so anyways, thanks, man. That was an awesome Christmas present.
No, you guys are so welcome. It was glad that we could do it.
Yeah. And even then, like to add to the story of, get to know Colt a little bit and his company. That's what's kind of cool about Drip Swag. And I know I'm maybe bragging a little bit, but it's true because, with the company that I co-founded and had other friends and owners part of, we went through 3 or 4 swag people and it just seemed like it was just kind of like a rotation, right? The first person, the third person was the same person, but worked for a different company. Mm-hmm. And they've been around, they kind of used we've been around for 5 or 10 years. Well, when I first met Colt, they were, I want to say under a year old at the time, maybe surpassing the year anniversary. And I knew within a week or two that they were much different because of the creativity and really, like we talked about before the podcast, the experience. And so tell me what your guys' vision is as to how are you different than the competition?
Yeah. So especially in swag, it's a very competitive industry, like most industries, and people are always looking for those nuggets to separate them from their competition. And for us, especially, there's a lot of great promo companies just here in our backyard, and the stakes are high. So you have to be on your A game, and there's no better way to do that than through experience. At the end of the day, you don't remember, you don't really care about the pen that you were given.
You could only embroider so well.
much. Yeah. Or like the hat or even a skateboard for that matter. But if you can tie it back to some sort of experience that allows them to be like, oh, yeah, that was cool when I was at that pen. Like I have this pen, but we were at, XYZ event and like they engraved my name on the pen at the event.
Yeah.
That was so cool, right?
Yeah.
And so,
On-site, that's cool.
And so now all of a sudden it's a little bit different vibe, and especially with companies out there. So not only are we trying to, set ourselves apart, but our customers are trying to set themselves apart.
I think it's
absolutely.
very important because, I think any business going into the business these days should add the experience part to their business plan. And I say that because I can think of 3, probably a dozen, but 3 right off the get-go. Like the first time I went and played golf at a place called Blue Jack, I just thought it was like a little golf trip or whatever, but there was an experience. Like I popped off number 7 and there was a Texas brisket chili thing cooking there. And number 12, you pop off and there was a barbecue pit. I remember thinking that when I'm finishing 18, like, man, that was an experience. It wasn't just 18 holes of golf.
Yeah.
And even then, like, I'm a big Jordan shoe guy, and my friend Rainey, he started a company, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, customizing Jordan shoes. But now he even makes it where, like, and a lot of teenagers do it, but like my boys were going to do it. They didn't do it this year, but they can get 8 friends, and they all, each friend is like $200, and they can go in and create their own shoes, and it's an experience.
That's cool.
Even last one is, I know you've been to a couple of our sushi parties. Those are experiences. Even when me and my wife are making Christmas presents and when we do birthday gifts, we don't want to give just cash.
Yeah.
We don't want to just send them a Venmo for $100. Like, what can we do to have an experience with them?
Yeah. And one thing that we talk about a lot in our house along the same lines is rather than getting something, let's do something. So, tell me a little bit, because, you're new your company's fairly new. You're already making waves. You're being splashy, wavy dude, doing big things with big names and big brands. How did you get there? Like what drove you to not only jump into this field where there's a lot of swag companies around? Like
we said you're in business for a year or two. Like, what were you doing before?
What got you here?
Yeah. So I had been in the promo space, and I've been in it for almost a decade, but really like what drove that. And in conjunction with that, like I got out of the promo space.
What exactly is the promo space for our audience?
So promo space, a lot of people refer to it as swag, but it's that promotional products. Promotional
I think the
items
go-to, everyone's like, oh, I'll just get some hats.
Yeah. I'll get some hats or shirts or whatever. So anyhow, I got out, also started a software company that helps with some of that patient experience engagement on that, called Experience You, that allows through video messaging patients and practices to better engage, educate, and communicate with their practice. But there was always kind of like this yearning, and it just always kind of came easy to me when it came to this industry. And so taking a few steps back to my roots, I worked for Qualtrics for a while back in their early years. I was like,
and they've done okay, right? Qualtrics,
well,
they do all right.
Yeah, do all right.
We got to remember, this is a nationwide podcast. So people that don't know Qualtrics, that's one of the biggest companies in Utah. But the founder owner now also owns the Utah Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club
and Smith Entertainment
Group. And he's everywhere. Ryan Smith is his name.
They're
billionaire.
Doing okay.
Yeah, doing okay for themselves. And so he taught me some very important lessons in regards to just business and creating that experience. And that's why, part of Qualtrics, they have what's called XM, their experience management system. And so it's like, okay, well, how do we now take some of these principles that I learned there to enhance and create those experiences really in any and all business? And I think oftentimes business, which can be great, can become very transactional, but we miss the mark in regards to that experience.
Yeah.
And so that's where it gets, that's where kind of the challenge has, I guess, festered, or like what drives us for, to be great is for those.
Was that just created internally? I've never heard that before. I think that's
XM is awesome. Yeah.
You know what it is?
Oh, well,
from him.
From what you said, like having an experience management system to say, okay, how do we, like for me, for my own business, outside of the podcast, we own a pickleball gym. I go, dude, I don't have any XM like processes in place, maybe inadvertently, but I'm already like, my wheels are turning right now, man.
Was that created internally, or was it some guy that wrote a book? I've never heard that, but I think it's great.
So it's kind of the terminology was used in and throughout like Qualtrics, and
that's pretty cool.
I'm
gonna make sure I look into that.
So, but like there's things, and so like again, hence like Experience You is that software company that and so again, I'm
that's cool.
Driving that experience and in business. A lot of times business, again, like we talked about and briefly mentioned, it's very transactional. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you, this for that, the quid pro quo type thing. And where in all reality, like people are oftentimes willing and wanting to pay more for that experience. There's reasons why people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's crazy. I think and we've seen this. Josh and I have talked about this a few times, but coming out of COVID, there's like this shadow inventory of people like wanting to get out and do stuff.
Yep.
And even though we're a couple years post COVID, there still is like these things, like even like the home run dugout.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Top Golf. These places where it's like having a third space for people is really, really important. Having that experience. So the fact that you're saying, okay, I run a promo company, I sell merch. How do we incorporate that into like merch? To me, that's probably a modality that I've not really thought of. So that's, like I say, you're kind of breaking my brain right now. I like
it's funny you're saying that. So I said this, I've never even told you this, I don't think, but when I used to speak and teach in front of groups and stuff, people would always say the word rich. I always say, I feel like I'm rich.
Yeah.
Well, rich means something different to everybody, right? For me, the word rich means to create more memories with my kids and my family. If I'm able to continue to do that, I'm rich,
blessed,
right?
Man, yeah.
And I'm blessed, rich. But with that, talking about COVID and stuff, I kind of notice I have a lot more fun if there's a little bit of experience, that we kind of go around it, and I think, man, this has been like blowing my mind with the experience management system, like looking it up. Like when you even talked about right before the podcast, you talked about like businesses that are like, yeah, we want to buy some hats. Well, why do you want to buy some hats?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the other book, DNAS, discovery needs, what's the discovery questions, needs question, the pain questions, which is assertive pain. And then the S is a solution. You come up with a solution. And so that's what I kind of even compared to like experience management system is trying to kind of figure out what that solution is to help that experience.
So tell me, like, what's one way that you currently are taking and blending experience with merch or swag? Like, what do you have coming up?
Yeah. So like, coming up, we have some projects with a local sports team where we're going to go on site and actually engrave some hockey pucks. So if that doesn't tell you what we're doing, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Again, they're looking for an experiential thing. They've given out hundreds, if not thousands over thousands of hockey pucks.
Yeah, we've got one at the house, but it's not. It's not engraved.
Yeah, it's not engraved, and there's nothing.
Were we there that same night? It was the same. Oh.
No,
it actually builds retention too.
Yeah.
Oh, it reminds me of sendoutcards.com.
Yeah.
Have you read that book?
Every realtor used to use sendout cards.
It kind of builds that retention, but also because they're getting a postcard from just meeting, not even like selling anything, it makes them feel that extra like, oh, this is something I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember someone sent me a postcard.
Yeah.
That's handwritten even, not just that's typed up. That's like, nowadays.
Just random. Yeah.
But I'm actually kind of curious, Colt, tell us about your family. Like, where'd you grow up? And we should have started there.
Yeah, maybe we should have started there, but that's good.
Yeah. Well, when the one thing that Zach said that's always vivid in my head, he said, you're a family man. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so grew up, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I grew up, born and raised in Kaysville. Had the blessing and privilege to serve an LDS church mission to Brazil for 2 years. And that really opened up my eyes to like, what this world's about, when you see people living in poverty and yet, they're walking around with a smile on their face and you're like, oh man, kind of a dirtbag. I have nothing to complain about.
It makes you appreciate America too.
It does.
Yeah,
it
for
does.
sure.
And so there's so many things. And so, as I went through those experiences, I'm the oldest of 7 boys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a wild ride. It was kind of feast or famine at the Flitton household. So
you're one of 7.
Oldest of 7.
Oh, you're the oldest of 7.
Oldest of 7. So
boys.
Boys. Yeah. So and then my
poor mom.
Poor mom indeed. So
how many gallons of milk did you guys go through?
So it's interesting that you literally said that. So when we were at our prime, when I was in high school, we were going through, I think it was around almost 20 gallons a week.
Gosh.
My mom was like, I actually saved money. We paid for a cow. Pretty much. We paid for like your mission in like the first 3 months of you not being at home, just with all the food.
The savings. Yeah.
And the savings and so forth.
Teenage boys. My son is 8. And even right now, like we're just like, he must be in a growth spurt because literally every 20, 30 minutes, he's like, hey, I'm hungry. We're like, you just ate. And he's like, I know, but I'm hungry.
He's not even that big yet.
No, I was like,
he's 8.
I know. Wild. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I grew up the oldest of 8 siblings. So yeah, it was always feast or famine. was super blessed and fortunate to have the parents that I did. Grew up in Kaysville. My dad, he's actually a podiatrist, foot and ankle surgeon in Kaysville at Tanner Clinic. And it was interesting growing up. He always instilled in us like, hey, there's nothing you can't do. So go chase your dream. And he's been a huge example throughout, my life of just that, kind of enduring to the end type mentality. And, when life gives you lemons, turn some lemonade and make some lemonade out of it. Right. And so, yeah, born in Kaysville, married my sweet wife, Nicole. We have 4 kids. Maddie's our oldest. She's born with a number of health issues. And so that's where kind of, not to digress, but the Experience You platform was kind of brought into fruition. She was born, had open heart surgery and had a number of other medical issues at
my nephew. Yeah. Open heart surgery when I was born.
Yeah. She was 6 months. And so it was insane. And so that, and then Tatum, he's our passionate, caring, loving one. He's in 6th grade. And then Trey's 9. He's the one that's either going to end up in prison or, on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Have one of those, right? Sports Illustrated, where he's we
won't let him
athlete.
See this episode till 18.
Yeah, exactly. Later in life. Exactly.
We want to encourage it.
Sure.
He's the stud that just has to be on the go, or he's constantly pestering. And then
that's my daughter Grace.
We have the diva at the bookend, Emma, who just turned 5, and you would think she's 25.
Yeah, so you're right in the thick of it, man.
So you have awesome. 5 to how old was Maddie?
Almost 14. So,
okay, cool. That's awesome,
so
man.
We're in the thick of it. That's for sure.
We have 2 boys, 2 girls as well. Yours are girl, boy, girl. Ours are 2 boys, 2 girls. Yeah, it's fun. And I grew up with no brothers, 3 sisters. I was the oldest of 4. It's whatever God wants, but I did want each sibling to have a sibling, and we were fortunate to have that. Pretty blessed.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's amazing. So it's you literally have my mind like still spinning a little bit. But
you come from Zach comes from a big family too.
Well, I'm one of 10 kids.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So but I am the 7th, so I know what it's like to be to have 6
right there.
siblings. And I have 5 older sisters, so there was it was wild in our house growing up. But I love that you say your dad was a huge support for you, especially coming from you said the apple didn't fall from the tree, but I think you look at someone and I think stereotypically I would think, okay, the dad's the doctor, the kids are probably going to kind of follow that same route. Instead, he's nurturing an entrepreneur and someone that says, you're not going to go the doctor route, do the route you're going to do and lend you support there. And I love that.
Yeah, I tried going the doctor route, and there's a few things. There's a 4-letter word with those other bad 4-letter words called MATH that I could just never get over. And so I was like, this isn't for me. And then a few other things such as chemistry. And then my dad was wise enough to be like, hey, look, medicine's changing. By the time you even get to practice, you're not going to be making what you think you are. And sure enough, he's probably right. So again, words of wisdom.
It's crazy how it's worked that way. I own dental practices, and that I know 4 dentists that their salaries range from 120 to 160.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they have a ton of education. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's super sad.
So I know it's in the medical field too. You know, my cousin's an anesthesiologist, and he's told me the same thing with like literally doctors coming out. A lot of them, it's hard now to find something unless they're part of a group that has some opening. Because a lot of these doctors these days too, like a couple of his partners are in their 70s.
Yeah.
And they're still going and they're still making it. But the guys that are 25 to 35 are like, hey, I got to wait till this guy at 70 wants to leave to jump in. It makes it tough.
Yep. So
that's why entrepreneurship's getting much, much more popular
prevalent,
prevalent.
People, and you see that like all across the board. A lot of people are not doing like the traditional like doctor lawyer route as much as lots of other things. Even as far as like YouTube channels and stuff like that. So
yeah, even my other cousin, same brother of the same family. He is a CEO. He's been CEO of many hospitals. So on the management side, from Oregon to Port Neff Hospital in Idaho Falls to now he's in Star Valley, Wyoming,
all over the place.
And he says the way the board of directors are having them manage is even worse too. They're really treating the medical doctors have been there a long time really bad. So,
well, and maybe there's something to be said for that. Like I say, I love to see that you're embracing the thing that you're passionate about, and you can tell you're passionate. Like one of the first things you showed us was a cool like leather engraved bag that you did, like just things that are out of the box, a little bit like different that sets you. A lot of times you think about what's the thing that is going to make me 10% different, and I've loved seeing that about the way you run your business and what you're doing and thinking outside of the box. And we did an event where you had a QR code for a free item of swag, and and understanding that these relationships matter versus just a transaction. And so, yeah, like I said, you're inspiring me. Hopefully anybody who's watching is feeling inspired. As we get ready to sign off, where can people find you guys? What's the easiest way to get a hold of you to maybe have a consult or talk about turning their own brand into something more experiential?
Yep, absolutely. And so, we're in the process of revamping our website as it speaks, but you can check us out at drip-swag.com. We have an Instagram handle. It's Drip Swag Promo. You can find some of our stuff there. And, that's, again, we're just looking to enhance that overall experience. Cool. And
we'll put links for people. Yeah. Like and subscribe. That's what Grayson always says when he's recording himself. Like and subscribe for more. So find Drip Swag and Colt. And you guys have been awesome to work with as far as even just brainstorming ideas and doing things. So reach out for sure.
This has been enlightening for me. I mean, it makes me want to really sit down with Colt even more to talk about the management system. Experience management system. The S. I forgot the S.
XMS.
But awesome. Thanks, man.
Hey,
appreciate you being on.
Appreciate you, Colt.
Without further ado, invest in your future.
Invest in yourself.
This is the Flat Bill Investors Podcast signing off.
Thanks.
Invest in Drip Swag.
Invest in Drip Swag.